10 Hut! Welcome to Kent Military School, where discipline is mandatory, puberty is awkward, and deadly dolls are not part of the curriculum. Allegedly.
Andy Barclay just wanted a fresh start. New school, new haircut, maybe less trauma. Instead, he gets the same old demon doll with a new paint job and an even worse attitude.
That's right. Child's Play 3 brings us back to our favorite pint-sized psychopath, now stalking teenagers, infiltrating the U.S. Army, and somehow still not getting shot on sight.
You know what's scarier than Chucky in this movie?
The military's decision-making?
That, and Andy's attempt at flirting. Oof.
So grab your camo gear, keep your soul inside your body, and whatever you do, don't play hide the soul with a ginger doll with a bad haircut.
This is Horror Cinema Obsession, and today we're saluting Child's Play 3, a movie that proves war is hell, but Chucky is worse.
Welcome to Horror Cinema Obsession. Here, we dive deep into the chilling depths of horror cinema, from the critically acclaimed scares to the laughably ludicrous, and even the delightfully obscure. Now, let's join our hosts, Richard and Angelus, as they share their love, laughs, and sometimes sheer disbelief at the world of horror movies.
All right, welcome back. This is another riveting episode of Horror Cinema Obsession. I'm one of two hosts, Richard Antahoni Cantabile, and this is my beautiful co-host,
Angeles Diaz Jimenez.
You know, how you doing, girl?
I'm doing okay, boy.
No, you're doing all right.
How are you doing?
You know, doing all right. Trying to right this ship, keep it afloat. It's been a little hard lately.
What's wrong with the ship?
I don't know. I feel like my sidekick. This is my sidekick no more.
That sucks, broski.
No. Anyways.
Like, I don't know where to go.
I love the start of this. No, okay. So welcome back, guys. We do got an awesome show. Before we get into it, we're covering Child's Play 3. That's one of all-time favorites. Definitely child nostalgia for me. But before we get into the episode, how are you?
I'm surviving.
You're surviving, not thriving?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
Oh, it's just a regular boring weekend.
Oh, stop it. We're gearing up to go on vacation. She's kind of mentally checked out from the podcast and work. But just kidding. She's working hard so she can have an enjoyable vacation. And we're going to have a great podcast. Am I right?
Yay!
I'm going to will it into existence, guys. Keep listening. Definitely not phoning it in. So, Angelus.
Ricardo.
This movie, have you saw this before?
Yeah.
When did you see it?
Last year.
You saw it last year?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay. What do you think about it? Has your thoughts changed since the first time you seen it?
I think you made me feel more sure of my initial feelings.
Whoa.
Thoughts.
What are your initial feelings and thoughts?
That this movie blows.
Wow. Holy shit. It blows to you?
It's not the best of the franchise. Let's start right there.
I'm going to argue that.
No, you're not. You came down here the other day and you were like, Angelus, you were 100% correct.
I never said
never added this to our docket.
No, I'll admit it. It's one of those mood things. So I wasn't in the right mental space for it. Like, it was bright outside. It was hot. It was a nice day. And then I had to watch this movie. I'm like, fuck, I could be doing something else right now. Like, instead of having to watch this movie. So completely my fault. I should have took time. I should have watched it like on a Tuesday night. You know what I mean? Instead of like a Saturday afternoon or a Friday afternoon. Definitely not the time to watch this. There's a time and place. So yes, Friday afternoon, this thing was a slog. I had to slog through this thing.
You watched it twice on a Friday.
I did, and it was a little bit better the second time. I was a little more tired, delirious.
So
I had food.
It looked better.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? It's not as big of a turd as I thought it was. Definitely in a better mindset. I do enjoy this movie. Does this movie hold up to me? maybe not. I think mine's more nostalgia. So, guys, in previous episodes, I think like the Scream episode, I brought up like my introduction to horror, how my mom would leave the USA Network on and Child's Play would play. Well, Child's Play 3 was typically the movie that was playing at night. So I think for me, it just holds a high mark for me just because of that is the one I've seen the most, that and Child's Play 2. So I will say with adult eyes, the last time I watched this, I had to have been no more than 10. It was the last time I seen this. So as a 35-year-old man, yes, this movie with adult eyes is fucking lame. You can see, like, especially with all the critiquing we do, like movie cinema to us, or at least to me, has been kind of ruined since I've been critiquing it and going in doing deep dives. It's made me a little bit snobbish, so I couldn't have as much fun as I did. So I'm kind of sad about that. Made me feel sad.
Oh, so you're saying we should stop watching and reviewing horror movies to enjoy them?
No. The problem is Pandora's already out of the box, man. That ship sailed a long time ago, even before this podcast. But no, there's just some that you can have fun with, like Friday the 13th Part 7, New Blood. That one, love. I enjoy it. I had fun covering that one. You know, where she has telekinesis.
Oh.
I had fun with that one. But this one, I guess I held it in such high regard. And
it disappointed you?
This time around, Friday afternoon, it did.
My Lanta.
But Friday evening, it redeemed itself a little bit.
As it speaks. And
I will say, in this movie, though, the Chucky's spot on. He's as good as he was, and always will be. I think this is one of the better versions of him, if you ask me. His one-liners are good. A couple didn't hold up. There's a racist one, but shit, it's Chucky, dude. Charles Lee Ray. Nobody said he's a saint.
Wow. Yeah, the humor was still there, but that was about it. I don't know. It just didn't entertain me.
It didn't. They replaced Andy in this one. The
Which
military school, I couldn't even buy into the military school this time around. It was just kind of like, oh,
yeah, there
they
were some
missed it.
characters that, like,
Yeah.
I get they were trying to push the bully, and they were trying to push that weird, what was he, a Cornell, the one that did their haircuts?
Yeah, dude.
I was like, where's
Funny
this
enough,
going?
the dad, Larry, or was it Larry in Hellraiser?
Yeah.
But yeah, they pushed him. I got pedo vibes off that. With adult eyes, I'm like,
I
whoa,
got serious.
this guy's a fucking sex pervert.
And he had a wall full of hair and pictures.
I never noticed because I think, one, we watched it in high definition, like as high definition as you can get, renting it from Google.
So you couldn't see that
back in the day in a tube television, you did not see that. I don't care who you are, even how big your screen was. You would not see the hair.
But they focused at one point there was a scene, they focused on the wall,
Yeah.
and they were like,
I guess I was a kid and wasn't paying attention, but why the fuck did he have locks of hair in their picture everywhere? That's serial killer shit.
Yeah, what do they call it? Your treasure?
Yeah, exactly. And he got weird, and he just had weird vibes. It was a weird take on this character from the actor and the director.
Yeah, they were like, let's make him pervy and serial killer at the same time.
Yeah, goddamn sex pervert. And then, yeah, there are just some characters, well, all characters are pretty much half-baked. Even Andy's character got half-baked, and he has 2 other movies to describe him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you should know who he is by Child's Play 3.
I don't know.
But it reinvented the thing. I just didn't like the actor. He was cool. Obviously, he's got a baby face, good-looking guy, but it just didn't do it for me. How did Andy somehow get more of a darker skin tone? He's more tan.
He's Italian, baby.
But the previous Andy wasn't. What the hell happened?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like they just kept trying to push the narrative, like, oh, Andy's a bit. Both movies, this one and then 2, started the same way. It doesn't matter that Andy was traumatized. We're gonna keep selling good guy dolls.
Well, the bottom line, and we covered this, Don Mancini, that's where he got his inspiration was, profiting and business of selling toys.
Yeah, but I don't know, like for story purposes in this one, they Like everybody,
even
all
that
the surgeons
storyline-
and everybody at the
Yeah.
academy were just
But
going
even-
on and on about, oh, you need to stop being a little baby and you need to grow up and you made
You
up
don't play with
stories.
toys. You don't play with
And
dolls.
they just sounded repetitive to on the second one with the foster parents.
I get what you're saying.
They were also doing the whole, you need to let it go, Andy.
I get what you're saying. They retread the story. The story didn't change. It just changed settings and characters.
Yeah, so
but
it
it was
was
the
just-
same layout, blueprint.
Yeah, but so I think that's what I was like, really? We're doing this again?
It got boring. It was boring. So, yes, seeing it from that perspective, totally. And then, yeah, they just kind of you brought up a good point with the toy company. Oh, we're going to bring it back to life again. It was just kind of tired at this point.
Yeah.
So, interesting points. And we'll get into it a little bit more. There's also, we're going to cover here in a second, there was UK crime controversy surrounding this movie, which we'll get in a little bit of depth. But before we do that, let's cover the basics here. The release date, August 30th, 1991, just in time for Halloween. Budget was estimated to be around 13 million, what I found. I don't know if you found anything different.
Yeah, that's
It was
what I
kind of
saw,
hard
too.
to find. And then its box office gross, so domestic gross, it was approximately 14.9 million. And worldwide gross, not widely reported, but likely didn't earn significantly more overseas. It was considered a box office disappointment, especially compared to the first two films.
I found that it grows a total of 20.5 million.
Yeah, so it did not fare well.
Still, I have that it's the lowest of all the series.
Yeah.
Lowest grossing.
Which it's kind of the same but different from the rest of the series. So just with the military school, it's just kind of a weird thing because I don't even think they bring up Andy being in military school after this. Do they ever?
What's the movie after this?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Bride of Chucky. So no, they completely drop Andy after this.
Yeah. The filming location on this primarily filmed in Los Angeles, California, but the military academy scenes were shot in Kemper Military School in Boonville, Missouri. Some interiors and other sequences were shot on sound stages in California, which always amazes me when they're shooting on sound stages and stuff, because this movie, I couldn't tell really, but I guess I'm not an expert with that kind of stuff, but could you really tell?
No.
That was pretty impressive. Now, theatrical release. Yes, this was a full nationwide theatrical release by Universal Pictures. However, it had a very short theatrical run and underperformed partly due to the franchise fatigue, missed poor critical reception, it was mixed to poor, and a rushed production schedule. It was released just 9 months after Child's Play 2, which we'll cover here in a second. So, this is one movie for release. This would have been, in today's standards, would have been either streaming, straight to streaming, or if it did get a theatrical release, it would be a week later and we would have had this on like Hulu or Max or something. I could totally see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Tubi. It would have been a Tubi fucking original.
I was just surprised to see the time. So this movie came out 9 months after Child's Play 2.
Yeah.
Which took place 8 years later. And then it came out a month before Bride of Chucky. So there wasn't even that much of a gap.
Whoa. A month before? Bride of Chucky came out in like 99 to 2000. This came out in 91.
Let me see.
So, no, now that you're bringing up, though, the rush production, and really I wanted to bring up the cost of storytelling. One thing we can't ignore when talking about Child's Play 3 is just how rushed this production was. It was released only 9 months, like you were saying, after the second film, and you can feel it. The characters feel like underdeveloped, the story lacks cohesion, and the tone is all over the place. It feels like a movie made to meet a deadline, not to tell a story, in my opinion. And that's exactly the problem. When the focus purely on momentum and profit, storytelling becomes an afterthought. This wasn't about creative evolution. It was about keeping a brand alive. There's no breathing room, no time to refine themes or expand on the trauma Andy's been through. Like, it was just kind of like, 8 years. We'll just say it's 8 years later. He's going through puberty and he misses his mom. Okay, that's it.
No. So it's talking about timeline, like on the story, not literally.
Oh, I
For a
thought you
month.
meant releasing. Okay.
No, so the story takes place a month before Bride of Chucky, which was released 7 years later.
They said that in the movie?
Apparently, whoever was keeping track of timelines and where
Who,
this is all
though?
supposed to be. I found this on my research, man. Don't
I
worry
know,
about
but
it.
whose timelines? Like, because
Chucky's timeline.
I know, but was this a fan thing put together? Like a fan of the franchise? Or was this actually like Don Mancini or someone?
No, this was blog.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So fans of the franchise.
The Chucky, yeah. So
They placed it.
Yeah, they placed it a month before Bride of Chucky.
I wonder
takes
what their
place.
logic is.
But it obviously didn't come out until 98.
I wonder what their logic is, though. They must give dates in this one. I didn't really necessarily see dates, but I guess you can 8 years in the future. Whoa, this was a future film? Damn.
This was what are you talking about?
Like it was 1991, but in reality it was 1999.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see dates on this movie
You're killing
that I saw. Just go on. Keep the party going, man. You're focusing too much on this month thing.
Well, you brought it up. It makes me think. I was just like, oh, I'm trying to like nerd out and understand.
Maybe he quickly realived himself and then he went on to find Tiffany.
Weird. Man, the thing with this, though, it is kind of disappointing being rushed like this. And we've seen this in other franchises like Halloween and all these, Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason, obviously. But Child's Play franchise had something unique, a horror icon that wasn't just silent and masked, but had personality. There was real potential to explore Andy growing up, how the trauma of being like hunted as a child would shape him. And they didn't quite hit that in this. You had 8 years of development, him being in and out of foster homes. Why couldn't we see a little bit more of his personality there? They made him really dry. Instead, it feels like everything was stripped down to essentials. Get Chucky back, find a new kid, create a new settings, and call it a sequel. The result is a movie that lacks identity. It plays like a placeholder, something to keep the name out there rather than say anything meaningful. So it was just a money grab.
I see.
Yeah. And that's just not Child's Play 3 issue. It's a problem that plagued horror, like I was saying, and the franchise filmmaking in general. For decades, the moment studios adopted the mindset of we make movies, not art, you lose everything that made those films resonate in the first place. Because horror at its best isn't just about scares, it's about reflection, subversion, and when the only goal is to get product out fast, you rob the audience of all that. You get something hollow, and I think you've seen that immediately in this film.
Yeah.
And obviously, with adult eyes, I did too. I was like, oh, this was a cash grab.
What are we doing, man?
Yeah. So Child's Play 3, not a failure, but definitely a missed opportunity in my eyes. I don't want to say it's a failure, though.
Oh, is this because of your childhood?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this Child's Play 3, so a couple of years later, I wanted to bring this up. And you have a little bit of information on this too, right? The UK controversy. So 2 years later after this film in 1993, it's kind of weird, but two 10-year-old boys in the UK, Robert Thompson and John Venables, abducted and murdered a 2-year-old James Bolger in a brutal and tragic case that shocked the world. During the investigation, British tabloids falsely claimed that the boys had watched Child's Play 3 or had been influenced by it. The claim centered on the cover art for Child's Play 3 VHS, which featured Chucky's menacing face, similar to a drawing one of the boys had made. The violence for entertainment angle, with tabloids arguing that exposure to horror movies like Child's Play 3 contributed to desensitization. However, there was no confirmed evidence that the boys had ever seen the film. Do you have anything on that?
Somehow they also found that the boy disliked horror films.
Yeah.
Which was later confirmed with
Well,
psychiatric reports.
police and legal authorities stated that the movie had no direct link to the crime and that blaming it was speculative and it was sensationalized. But the damage was already done, apparently. So the UK press ran with it, feeling public outrage. The film was banned or pulled from shelves in several stores. Child's Play 3 became an scapegoat in debates about media violence influencing children, especially in the UK. This controversy led to a stricter regulation on home video certifications and was a pivotal moment in how media and real-life violence were discussed in British politics and press. This could have been part of it, maybe a little bit after, but I think we've covered it. Maybe we haven't. Maybe it was just me reading, but video nasties. Do you remember that?
I think you talked about it before.
Yeah, so the UK over there, they'd call it video nasties. So anything rated R or like horror movies would get banned, like censored, because it was too extreme. So it's funny. I think in 1990, it should have been wrapping up a little bit. I don't know. I'd have to look a little bit more into it.
The timeline.
But obviously, this was in the heat of it. They're blaming it. And this isn't new. Like with music, we've had that in the 80s, even the 2000s, if you remember, Angelus, like Eminem. The parents hated Eminem.
Oh, yeah, and every rapper.
Yeah, exactly. It was just infiltrating. And like in the 80s, it was the satanic panic. Metal is the devil's music. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of, adults are always looking for ways to blame like parenting issues on other things, on entertainment, when it's simply not the case, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but growing up with horror, growing up with Eminem, Call of Duty, all this stuff, The Matrix was a big one.
So as a parent, I don't think that every single thing, but I think that there are some things out there that have a heavy influence on your kids.
Yeah.
Because,
like they said, the desensitization. Do you think that's what's happening? Like, I definitely see it, desensitized kids.
Oh, nowadays, yes. Especially
even
like
us.
teenage kids.
Yeah, if you look at us and look at Vienna, we're desensitized.
Yeah.
We watch Saw and we don't flinch. Like,
but it depends on every household. It's different.
Yeah.
And how much content and the type of content that they're intaking.
Consuming, yeah.
But I can also see how some things with kids, obviously there's people with personalities that are a lot more susceptible to things and beliefs and certain practices even if your family...
The background and how you're raised, too. If you're in a bad situation, like, of course, things are going to have a different impression.
If you don't have a lot of interaction with other people and this is the only thing that you interact with, you might be more inclined to believe, oh, yeah, this is true and I'm going to do this.
But it's kind of like I said, we're not doctors and we don't know everything.
Hells, yeah, we are.
From our perspective, at least, I think we're kind of similar in that, where I think it's a case by case basis, but I don't think the entertainment is what's causing this. I think it can be a conduit for what's going to happen, or it can help support that, but it's not a single driving force.
No, it's an individual case. It, again, depends on what's going on in your household.
Yeah.
There can be a lot of other factors, not just whatever they're consuming.
Yeah, exactly. So Child's Play franchise didn't respond with a PR blitz on this like you'd think, or public defense at the time. But here's what did happen and how the team handled the heat. So silence was the strategy initially. Universal Pictures, the filmmakers largely chose not to publicly engage with the controversy. They likely feared that commenting would draw even more attention to the tragic murder and deepen the association. Don Mancini, the creator of Chucky, has since stated in interviews that the idea of Child's Play 3 influencing the murder was both horrifying and absurd. So he's come out. He's just like, fuck that. So damage to Chucky's image in the UK, and I'm not too familiar. Our UK listeners, you can tell us. But from what I read was the UK video release of Child's Play 3 was pulled from shelves like we were saying. It was temporarily after the James Bulger case. And then some retailers refused to restock the film and became something of a cultural scapegoat, especially in discussion around violence and media and children's access to horror content. So I don't know if that still carries the same thing as today. I'm curious to see or hear of your guys' perspective over there, having experienced it if you're old enough. And then long-term impact on tone. The backlash helped shape how the franchise evolved. By the time Bride of Chucky came out in 1998, the tone shifted hard into dark comedy and self-parody, deliberately moving away from grittier, child-targeted horror of the early film. This pivot redefined Chucky more as a wisecracking horror icon than a serious threat to real-world innocence. Which, I don't know, is it better? Is the franchise better for it? It's kind of a tale of both roads. I think it's hard to take a doll seriously killing people, but parody, I mean, some of Seed of Chucky went off the rails, dude. Fuck.
I don't know. I mean, obviously it draws.
How do you feel about this
attention, good or bad.
franchise?
I like it. I think it's one of my favorite horror franchises.
Yeah, you like parody and you like comedy, though.
I think that's what made, especially the later movies like Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, and then the TV series. I like the humor. I haven't seen, there's like a gap of movies right before the TV show that I've seen a couple of them here and there, but not all of them. Those seemed like, from what I remember, they went a little bit on the darker side, taken back from the humor that we see in like this movie. 2, it had humor, but I don't think that it had as much
Child's
humor.
Play
They
2?
were still
No.
leaning into
Child's
the
Play
horror.
1 is complete horror. Child's Play 2 was more horror, but it was cheesy.
And then
Cheesier
this
parts,
one
yeah.
had a lot of punch lines.
And they were trying to infuse a little bit of comedy, but still maintaining the serious tone.
Yeah.
So interesting. So that was kind of what was happening in the UK. I didn't hear of such incidences in the US.
I didn't find any either.
I didn't either. We didn't care. We're like, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
occasionally you run into those movies where they're like, oh my God, kids were, or people were influenced to commit murders and do things. But
what comes to mind for me around that age, like I said, The Matrix with Columbine. Like, it was The Matrix and Eminem and Marilyn Manson.
Oh, that's who
made them shoot it up. I remember that vividly, and my mom's like, you can't watch listen to any of it. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. We would anyways. That's what I'm saying. That entertainment, your kids are going to find the entertainment they're going to want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And trying to make it a little more difficult is going to make it even more, what's the word? Like, you're going to want to watch it even more.
Oh, yeah.
You know
restricting someone, telling them you can't do something, they're just going to do it behind your back.
That's what happened.
You were a rebel.
I was a bad boy. What's up?
Bad to the bone. No.
Oh, George Thorogood. Bad to the bone. Hey, that was my song growing up.
No. Ba.
Stupid. So we don't got a whole lot of segments this time around. Just that. I think this will be an easy one. But before we go into the cast, where can they follow us?
I'm glad you asked, Ricardo. They can follow us on Instagram at Horror Cinema Obsession and on the TikTok at Horror Cinema Obsession. And we're on Facebook sometimes at Horror Cinema Obsession.
Yeah. And then Horror Cinema Obsession 24 at gmail.com. You can reach out to us. We just got to say this. And please, we love and appreciate your support. If you can like or subscribe to us. YouTube, we're on there as well. You can like there, leave comments on Spotify. We see you guys. We appreciate you.
Spotify, Podchaser. I've been going down the rabbit hole.
Apple.
I've been finding these little Easter eggs. We might reach some. I don't know. If you guys leave us some cool comments.
Oh, hell
we'll
yeah. That'd be fun. I like that. We've got quite a few of them. So yeah, just show your support. We'd love to hear from you. People are obsessed with horror as much as we are. It's always fun. I find I relate more to you guys than the other people in my lives, reluctantly. God, I'm kidding. But anyways, back to the cast. Do we want to cover that? And then we'll go on a break after we do this stuff.
Okay.
So obviously we had Brad Dourif. He's been in a handful of the films we've covered. We've covered Halloween, Rob Zombie, he plays the sheriff in that. And then we've covered Child's Play 2 and Seed of Chucky, which Brad Dourif has reprised Charles Lee Ray in all the movies we've covered so far. So he's an Oscar-nominated actor. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. We've already covered him before. I know we have, but we're going to do it again. He deserves it. Brad Dourif is a character actor known for his intense, unsettling performances. He trained in New York and got his start in theater before transitioning into film. Notable roles, like we were saying, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as Billy Bibbit. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. He plays Grima Wormtongue. Dune, 1984. He plays Peter de Veres. And The Exorcist 3, baby, 1990. That is, what's his name? Wisconsin serial killer. Favorite movie. He is a cannibal.
Oh, Hannibal Lecter?
No, what?
I don't know.
Wisconsin? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
Is a lotion on this?
No, he drills holes in
Oh
their
my
head.
God.
The serial killer.
don't
Look it up.
know.
I'm drawing a blank. I got a hole in my head. Just type in Wisconsin serial killer. People are screaming at us right
You're
now.
putting a hole in my head. How do you know he's from Wisconsin, but you can't?
He's got thick rimmed glasses.
Oh, are you talking about,
Yes.
what's his face? Ed? Not
No.
Ed.
Oh my God, you're killing me. Okay.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes, Jeffrey Dahmer. Fuck, you're killing me. You had it Googled. I'm drawing blanks. I got holes
could
in my head,
see
okay?
His face, the Netflix, the
Jesus
character.
Christ. I'm sorry, guys. Exorcist 3, Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite movie, Play for All's Victims. He was in Deadwood, and we're not talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. We're talking about Brad Dourif.
Yeah, why?
Voiced Chucky in every film up to Cult of Chucky and returned for the 2021 Chucky series. Now, he brings depth and menace to Chucky, balancing dark humor with genuine menace. He is the franchise, and it'll be hard to, have anybody else replace them. In my opinion, how do you replace Brad Dourif as Chucky?
You can't.
You can't, man.
Chucky will die, man.
Now, who else do we have? Who's next?
We have Jeremy Silvers, who plays Tyler, the little boy.
Okay.
He's not very active. I only saw he was, besides this movie, he was in one episode of Saved by the Bell, and then an episode of My Wife and Kids, and that was in 2001. Yeah.
I love My Wife and Kids. It's got Damon Wayans.
Oh, no, that's not who we're seeing.
No, we're seeing Sean. No, we're not. We've seen Sean Wayans. What's the other Wayne brother?
Marlon.
Yeah, we're seeing Marlon, baby. Second time. Yeah, I didn't see too much on him. It looks like he just kind of faded out. He must got a real job. And then what about Justin Whalen? That's who I thought we were going to next.
Andy
Barclay. He's the teen version. So this guy looks familiar, and he doesn't look familiar for this movie. I remember him from a Disney movie with the Pink Ranger, Susie Q. I remember him in that.
I didn't realize he was in Serial Mom, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, and he was in Susie Q, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, the TV show. He was in The House that Jack Built, and the last thing I found was he was on Off the Ledge. In 2009.
This kid was a rising teen actor in the late 80s and early 90s. And you could he has the look for it. You know what I mean? He was an up-and-comer. But for whatever reason, the adult years didn't treat him well. But he did win a Daytime Emmy for his role in CBS's School Break special before stepping into the Child's Play franchise.
Interesting.
His casting as Andy was controversial with fans who missed Alex Vincent. But that's the other thing. If you could bring back Alex Vincent, why wouldn't you just do that? Why did you have to speed up the timeline to 8 years, especially if you're rushing the movie?
It was 9 months, and Alex Vincent couldn't grow up that much in 9 months.
And they were just fucking hard on the military school or something.
And they probably started filming right as...
Well, I think they had to dramatically change it because they were making essentially the same movie 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
So it had to change the settings. So I guess they couldn't have chose Alex unless they wanted to make the exact movie three different times. Although I would argue it probably could have been successful. Give the audience what they want. I mean, it'd be tired. You'd have to definitely wait a few years if
That poor
to make
kid
it
at
again.
the time. Alex just no break, just filming Chucky's back to back to back.
I know. That's crazy. But yeah, Justin Whalen, serviceable actor. He did all right for what he was given.
And we have Perry Reeves as De Silva. What was her first name? I just kept seeing her reference as De
Pere.
Silva.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah.
Where was it? Kristen De Silva.
Okay. So she was.
I've seen her in a bunch of shit, but older. I remember what I mainly remember is Frank the Tank's wife in Old School as Marissa, and then I remember in Entourage, she is Melissa Gold in that.
Okay, she was also in in a couple of documentaries, the Chachila kidnapping, the Menendez killing on Beverly Hills. She was in Girl Interrupted. And the most recent thing I saw was The Space Between in 2010.
She also did Covert Affairs 2010 to 14. I've never seen that show.
Okay.
But I know that was a USA Network show.
Okay.
This was one of her earlier film roles. She later gained popularity of playing Vince's therapist turned girlfriend in Entourage. That's where I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, she did good, but, serviceable.
Wow.
And then we have Travis Fine as Cadet Shelton. So Fine is trained actor and director who has since transitioned into filmmaking. Notable roles, again, for Travis Fine was Girl Interrupted with Pere Reeves, The Young Rider, 1989 to 92, and directed and wrote Any Day Now, 2012, a critically acclaimed drama. I don't think I've seen that. Have you?
No, so I fucked up. What I read, the credits were for Shelton's, not De Silva. So I was like, wait, they were both in the exact same things.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering because I didn't see that for Pere. I was just going with you. So Shelton, Travis Fine, known for playing the intense authority figures or conflicted men, his role as Shelton gave the movie its classic bully with a buzz cut energy. And honestly, I think he was a kind of a bright spot of the movie. He played that bully really well.
He did.
You hated him. Everybody's had that asshole in their life. I don't care who you are. You can think of someone. If you close your eyes, you can always picture someone. Who is that for you?
Richard.
Wow. You married a bull? Get the fuck out of here.
My bully.
Jesus Christ. I can't with you, man.
No, I never had someone like...
You didn't have someone you hated that was just a complete asshole?
Actually, I did. There was 2 kids.
Name them.
Cheney High School.
First names, don't give last names.
Jeremy and Daniel.
Jeremy and Daniel. Mine was Patrick.
Yours was Patrick?
Yep. Patrick.
Yep. They were
Fucker.
just some fucking ignorant shitheads.
I know. Yeah. Fucking everybody has them, dude.
Everybody has
Everybody has a Cadet Shelton. And then we have Dean Jacobson. He plays Whitehurst. So he's kind of the nerdy guy getting bullied. So Jacobson had a short film career in the early 90s and worked in a few genre films. Notable roles were Deadly Weapon in 1989, Spellcaster in 1992. His character as Whitehurst is notable for one of the few acts of heroism in the film. His death is one of the more emotional moments. That's what I read. And I didn't get really emotional with this. I thought it was a little cheesy.
I thought I saw a little tear rolling down your face.
Me?
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just had a real sense of patriotism. I just started doing the a Pledge of Allegiance.
They're like, huh, huh. Keep marching on, soldiers.
I thought I seen an eagle.
I
fly.
heard it. Oh!
Jesus
I
Christ.
don't think that's
America.
how
What a
eagles
perfect
sound.
movie. How do we plan these out? Like it's a military movie, 4th of July is coming, like here in a week. Hilarious. I fucking love it.
I don't know. We were just fucking amazing.
America. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
America. Fuck yeah.
That was our first 4th of July together. Richard
No, it was our
making me-
second.
Our second. And Richard making me watch.
Dude, we're
What
about
are
to have our third.
What is that movie called?
Team America World Police.
No.
Durka Durka.
Durka Durka?
Durka Durka Jihad.
Oh my god.
Hey, that movie fucks, okay?
I'm sure.
Highly recommend.
Okay.
So that rounds out the cast, and then we have a bunch of no-name people to cast. Did you get the adults? I totally blanked. I don't have Larry from Hellraiser.
How fucking dare you? We covered him
Do
in
you?
detail in our Hellraiser episode in season 1. Andrew Robinson as Sergeant Botnick. He was in Ryan.
He plays that sex pervert.
He-
I just like saying sex pervert.
Oh my gosh. He was in Ryan's Hope from 76 to 78.
Mhm.
Hellraiser in 87. He was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He was there for 6 years. And
Hell
then
yeah.
more recently, he was in an episode of a TV show called 12-Sided Die in 2024.
Oh,
Okay,
shit, he's
so-
still acting?
Yeah.
So he's probably had the most acting, him and Cadet Shelton, that character.
Sheldon.
Yeah, Fine, Travis Fine. Him and, because those are the two guys I recognize.
I also got Colonel Cochrane.
Cochran?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cochran. Active since 85. He also had a lot of acting credits. He was in The Enemy Within, the movie Mr. Bean, Flubber.
Flubber, dude, I love that movie.
I love that movie too. That was one of my early entries
Oh,
into
shit.
movies
In America.
in America. And I had it on VHS and we watched it on repeat.
See, it wasn't that great of a movie because I seen it in theaters, but it was one of the most CGI
Way to
movies.
kill my memory with your in theaters.
But no, Flubber, I just remember the Flubber being CGI and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Oh, we should watch it and see if it still holds.
Let's do it. Let's watch it tonight.
I just remember the green little thing bouncing all over the place.
I wonder if it's
Robin
behind the
Williams.
I wonder if it's behind the Disney paywall.
Oh, we have access to the Disney paywall.
Yeah, but they fucking sometimes put that shit in a vault and you can't watch it for years and they'll release it.
Okay. He was also in General Hospital, which was that TV show.
Shout out, Sonny Corinthos, I think.
True.
He was the mob boss in that.
Oh, I've never seen it. And then he was in True Grit.
Jason's the hitman and
And more
General Hospital.
recently, he was in an episode of a TV show called, I am not going to know how to pronounce this, Etoile, Etoile.
Toil in Time.
Etoile. It didn't say on time, it just said Etoile.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's on time.
Okay.
But yeah, he was in that, 2025, so he's still
Jesus Christ, how
kicking
old
and
is he?
rolling. He is 84 years old.
Wow, go off, young man.
Go off, King.
Jesus, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's the cast. Not world beaters, but you know what? Serviceable. That's what I can say. Then we do have. Do you want to get in the director?
Let's get into the director.
Yeah, we have Jack Bender. Background for him. Jack Bender started as an actor in the 70s, appearing in shows like All in the Family and The Bob Newhart Show before transitioning behind the camera. He moved into directing in the 80s and became known for his work on television, particularly in genre storytelling. So, key directing credits that I found was Child's Play 3, his only feature in the Child's Play franchise, Rushed, Limited, Creative Control, often cited by fans, and Bender himself as a compromised project. Midnight Hour was another project, 1985 TV movie, a cult favorite Halloween musical horror. You should note that. I kind of want to see it. Midnight Hour. And then Let's Get Hairy, 1986, an action film with a famously troubled production. Alan Smithy was briefly credited due to disputes. Those are his movie credits. So his first big break, it looks like, was Child's Play 3. But then he had television, where he really shined. So he did Lost, 2004 to 2010, directed 38 episodes, including some of the most critically acclaimed episodes of that franchise or series. Which I think I've asked you before. You've watched Lost, right?
I watched like 3 episodes of the first season.
I never got into it. I just couldn't.
And I can't get past it.
I'm like, it's Gilligan's Island, but serious?
I just think that I've seen and heard so many references, and Spoiler, someone said if anybody dies, I was like, I already know what happens at the end.
That's awesome.
So I can't get invested in any character.
And then he also directed Game of Thrones in 2016, directed The Door and Blood of My Blood. That was pretty good. So 2 great shows, Lost and Game of Thrones. And then he's also, man, it gets good. Alias, he did some of that. He did The Sopranos, Under the Dome, Carnival, Mr. Mercedes, all notable episodes in those series. So this guy is a TV director, man. You really found his rhythm in the 2000s.
He also directed 2 episodes on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I cover that. Are you listening? The Door and Blood of My Blood.
I don't know which ones. I don't remember.
I do, because
It's been a while.
I brought it up twice.
Which season was it in?
It was 2016. So whatever season was that.
I need to know what season.
And then directing style and legacy. So Bender is known for character-driven tension, a skill far more evident in his television work than Child's Play 3. And in interviews, Bender has acknowledged the challenge of Child's Play 3, citing the tight turnaround and studio pressure as key issues that hindered the film's final product. And this is a quote from Bender. It's paraphrased. It was a franchise job. We had to move fast, and I did what I could with the time and script I was given. So he didn't really defend it, but he's like kind of building his own excuse. So interesting note here is he jumps from a rushed horror sequel to directing prestige TV shows like Lost and Game of Thrones. Shows how versatile and resilient he is at filmmaking. So that was interesting with Jack Bender. It just seems like an interesting guy. And then we have Don Mancini as the writer, which we're all familiar with. If you love horror, Don Mancini is the creator of Child's Play and Chucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much writing credits. Child's Play 2, 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and Chucky TV series. His take on Child's Play 3, Mancini has been openly critical of this particular film. He was pressured by Universal to deliver a third entry just as Part 2 hit theaters, a rushed timeline that gave him very little creative breathing room. And his quote, paraphrased, "I was just out of ideas. I didn't want to do another movie so soon. I really was burned out." He admitted the military school setting was a fresh idea, but he wasn't fully able to explore the psychological depth or thematic weight he wanted to. In later interviews, he called Child's Play 3 his least favorite of the franchise and acknowledges that the writing was mechanical compared to his other work.
Give this man a fucking vacation.
So, I mean, Jesus Christ. Kind of sums it up. Wasn't his favorite work, and it was just a paycheck.
I did see after he decided to make Andy be 16, he considered recasting Justin with Jonathan Brandis, who was in the original It movies.
Okay.
And Full House. I think he would have been a good actor for this role too. Jonathan Brandis.
I don't know who that is.
He was in It. He was
Can I see a picture real quick?
Yeah. And he was in like Full House.
Yeah, click on that picture. Oh, yeah. Okay, I know. He also did the one with Deuce Bigelow, Schneider, where he changes bodies with a girl. Remember that?
Oh.
He plays the boyfriend.
Oh, he's the boyfriend there?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. And he's in Mrs. Doubtfire as the son, right?
I don't see it, but
I don't remember him being in It. Maybe I got the wrong character.
Yeah, he was in It. It says that he was in It, and he was in Full House. And then he also, before hiring Jack Bender for director, he wanted to hire Peter Jackson.
Oh,
who's the dude that made all the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings movies.
I could fuck with that.
You could fuck with that?
That would have been cool. But you know what? Peter Jackson, even at that time, would have been like, fuck all y'all. We're taking time here.
We're not making a rush movie.
Yeah. Just certain directors just have that prestige about them. Like even when because Peter Jackson at the time wasn't huge. you know,
really,
2000s hasn't hit yet. He didn't do Lord of the Rings. So, but you just kind of get those certain guys are like, oh. And I was wrong. That isn't the right character. That's the guy they wanted to play.
Yeah, that's who he wanted to recast for Andy's.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of someone else.
For Andy's character.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all I have. I also saw that this is one of the first movies where they used technology for Chucky.
I was thinking of Matthew Lawrence. That was my bad. Matthew Lawrence.
I see. They used computer assistants for the puppetry for Chucky to improve the lip movements with the speaking from Brad.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the first.
It worked really well. Hey,
stubs.
we gotta. Well, I guess we'll cover it after the break. We'll kind of tie this up. Do you have anything else? We got to cover the intro of this movie.
The intro of this movie?
Yeah. But before we do that, do you want to take a quick break?
Sure.
All right. We will be right back. Some people wear band tees. Some wear brand names. But you're the kind of person who listens to horror podcasts, and not just any horror podcast. You listen to this one.
You already got great taste in movies and podcasts. Might as well have the wardrobe to match.
Check out our merch at horrorcinemaobs.etsy.com. We've got killer designs, fresh drops all the time, and it's one of the best ways to support a young, hip, cool podcast such as ourselves, trying to make it in a world full of true crime shows and people who think Megan 2.0 is a goddamn masterpiece.
Plus, our shirts pair great with existential dread and popcorn.
So grab something, rep the obsession, show the world you're the kind of horror fan who gets it.
HorrorCinemaOBS.etsy.com. Support indie horror with style.
Rep the obsession.
Two plots enter, one plot leaves. Two plots enter, one plot leaves. Two plots enter, one plot leaves.
Ow.
Two plots enter, one plot leaves. Two plots enter, one plot leaves.
Oh, wow, thanks for your home. All right.
Like a cat.
It's that part of the show, guys. Two plots enter, one plot leaves, where me and Angelus go head to head with our own written plots. Usually it coincides of us trying to like break each other. I usually end up winning, but
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm excited. There's no competition here. We just have fun. I like to hear her point of view of the movie, how she thinks it's laid out, and then I like to hear how mine is. So, as always, Angelus, go first.
I go first. Thanks for your sip, Richard.
Yep.
Okay. Andy Barclay, now a moody teenager with bigger problems than facial acne and wet dreams, gets sent to Kent Military Academy because nothing says treat your trauma like early morning drills and toxic masculinity.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, Chucky ships himself overnight, thank you Amazon Prime, and immediately gets to looking for his teenage vessel. Chucky then realizes there's younger meat to choose from and sets his eyes on young Tyler,
Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Get the fuck out of here. Who all he wants is a friend, and his dad's too busy flying drones to drop him a letter. And what does Tyler get instead? Chucky, who growls when he's hugged a little too tight. As Andy tries to stop Chucky from taking Tyler's soul, Tyler clings to the belief that friendship bracelets are the answer to his troubles, even if it comes with a little demonic possession and a maniac laugh. But will Tyler realize before it's too late that his new friend comes with more than a fresh new box of crayons? He has a kill count and a vendetta. The end.
Okay, you realize this movie took place in 1991.
Yeah.
No Amazon Prime and no...
Oh
drone
my
flying.
God. Can you leave my plot alone? Yes, there were drones. This is the fucking
very
US
early,
military.
very early. He was a pilot.
Why are you nitpicking? It's supposed to be fun.
Okay. Good
How
thing.
did he get there so fast?
Who?
Chucky.
I mean, it implied that was months.
Well, Amazon Prime, baby.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
2-day delivery. Ooh, ooh. Okay. I like it. Good job.
Overnight if it's under $20.
You updated it. Good job. All right. Child's Play 3. 8 years after his last murder spree, Chucky gets resurrected by the most morally bankrupt boardroom imaginable, because nothing screams good idea like reinventing a toy with confirmed kill counts, back in plastic, and full of sass. Chucky mails himself to a military academy where Andy Barclay, now a traumatized teen with trust issues and bad hair, just wants to survive drills, discipline, and another round of soul transfer roulette. But Andy's not the only one in danger. Chucky sets his sights on a young Tyler, a wide-eyed kid who thinks a doll is his best friend. Meanwhile, Andy's stuck in a boot camp nightmare featuring a power-tripping cadet, a war game gone full apocalypse now, and a deeply suspect barber who talks dirty to hair and has a wall of headshots that screams FBI. Please check out this basement. As Chucky turns military school into a war zone, the real horror might be not the doll, but the adults who somehow seem way more creepy.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm sorry. The barber is a pedo.
I got those vibes too. I got him in Hellraiser too.
Pedo. Wow, you got that in that one too? I never got that. And thanks for opening a wrapper, by the way. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Jesus Christ.
It was good. Good job.
Thanks. I just get that.
Yeah.
Snap claps.
A snap clap. You get one snap clap because you were spicy with my Amazon Prime joke.
Oh my God. Yeah, so our plots. Guys, let us know. And then, so do we want to go into the moments that matter?
Sure.
We're cruising through this bad boy. Yeah, let's start with, I wanted to get your opinion on this because I have an opinion. The intro to this movie. Is this the best in the franchise?
That's a pretty fucking badass intro.
I thought it was pretty good. Like the reversed plastic mixed with blood. Yeah, I thought that was pretty intense. So this is part of the movie where when I was a kid, this is what I remembered, the intro and how they were making him.
This is what scared you.
Yeah, super creepy from the start. And then at the end, after they do all that plastic moving, kind of reversing and flowing, you see very primitive child's play doll, a good guy doll, as he's being carved out, and they start carving it, and it's Chucky's face, and it's reverse doing it because it's melted, and it's reversing the effect, and then all of a sudden you see hollowed eyes, hollow mouth, but then he screams, and it's a classic Brad Dourif scream as Chucky. No, he's like, ah! And it's super loud. It's kind of creepy.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. That's probably the best intro in this franchise. And
Are you
really
gonna
a lot of
say
horror. A lot of horror franchises. That one's pretty fucking good. They got that done right.
Yeah, so we go again, like we talked about earlier, into this company, the warehouse. They're making more dolls to sell.
I will say this part of the movie too, I remember the most. I remember the CEO, that fucking the owner, the guy, the boss.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the scene. I remember his office, and I always remember wanting his office. I'm like, even as a fucking 3-year-old or 5-year-old, I'm like, God, I want that office.
You're like, I need all that space.
My office right now is a fraction of that, man. I wish I had that. I would live in my office.
I have an office.
Oh, you don't?
I have a desk.
I have a desk too in my office.
Nope, I have a desk on the side of this big open space with full desks. Fuck? Yeah, man.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Only the managers have offices.
Oh, there you have it.
And the assistant managers share one office.
Oh, okay.
There you have it. It's the setup of the building. It's like a big open space, and then it was
built in the 80s.
There's only 4 actual like offices with doors. Yeah. Other than that, it's all big open space.
The outside of it, it's all black mirror, and it's like 80s vibes. I'm just picturing people just snorting cocaine like crazy.
That's what we do. How do you think we get our audits done on time?
Whoa! Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Whoa.
State money goes to buying Coke for
Goes up
auditors.
their nose.
Just kidding, guys. We don't.
You're fucking dumb. Jesus. I'm
Someone's
keeping
gonna
this
call
in.
my manager and be like,
I'm keeping this shit in, man.
we heard the auditors are snorting Coke while they're doing audits.
That's hilarious.
No.
Okay, what's next? What do we got?
Well, the CEO, they're like, but Andy, and he's like, forget about Andy. We're going to sell these damn dolls and we're going to make money. And
Well, like you said, the tired trope by this time. Andy's just a delusional boy. He's not going to get in the middle of our profits. This is a profit-driven thing, whether it's nuclear weapons, hair product, or whatever they say, and even toys. There's a bottom line.
yeah, and so everybody goes to like sell it. Everybody leaves the office. It's nighttime, and he
he gets the
behind.
prototype. He gets the Child's Play prototype, the one that it's the Mr. Good Guy doll of the 90s.
Well, the thing we didn't mention is with the opening scene too, we pick up where the last movie left off, and there's a blob of melted plastic on the floor.
Oh, and how dumb was this? When they're picking him up off the ground, this claw comes down to pick up the melted plastic on the ground, specifically to pick this up. There's no way this machinery was built there because they're acting like it was a manufacturing line, and somehow this claw just came out of where it was supposed to be to reach down and grab this. Complete bullshit. Did not happen. It was stupid, and I hate that.
And out of all things,
it's nonsensical.
Like, this, technically would have been trash and they would have tossed it, but instead they threw it in the big pot with all the...
they didn't.
They did throw it away, but...
It went across it. What was cool about this scene was I thought it was cool when the claw penetrates the mold, the melted body, blood starts just spewing out of it. I thought that was cool. But to make this work for the story, they lift it up and it goes over the vat of plastic. Keep in mind, they're cleaning this place up. It's not functioning, but some reason they still have a molting plastic in a bin going.
And you can tell
like they're going to start operation soon.
Has been abandoned because if you look at the rest of the factory, it looks
cobwebs,
dusty, cobwebs everywhere.
Nothing else. I'm trying to paint the picture. Nothing is running besides this vat of plastic. Why would this be heating up right now? Because they're nowhere near close to production at the moment.
Mm-mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they just wanted blood dripping in there to make the new Child's Play. That's the only reason why this is
and
running.
You asked why there wasn't a lot of Chuckies. Originally, Mancini wanted...
Yeah. I didn't ask in the episode. I did ask you that. That's funny. We were thinking the same thing.
Yeah, Mancini did want it originally for this story to play into multiple Chuckies, but because of the budget, that wasn't able to do it. So he did it. I think it was in part of the TV series is when he finally got to play with the idea of multiple Chuckies.
Oh, I gotta watch the series. Lord Pineapple said it was really good.
Mm-hmm. I watched the first 2 seasons.
And you liked it?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta watch that. Multiple Chuckies. I think that would have been a better story in this. Mm-hmm. Like, you had multiple Chuckies, and it could have been a doom and gloom, because at that point, then Charles Lee Ray could have picked a random kid, and it could have ended that movie, and we could have got a 4th Child's Play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they could have went down a different storyline, still have Andy, and really push this along. I think we could have had a really more creative avenue had we done that.
But no, here we are. So everyone leaves. The CEO, he's alone in the office. And then, of course, Chucky's alive. He gets out of his box and he starts messing with the dude. Just moving things around, pushing things around.
Typical Chucky thing.
Playing with his prey.
He's such a prankster.
Yeah, and at one point he's maxing with the golf dart, and then the one thing that you were like so just infuriated was he hits him with the dart, and that paralyzes him to where he has to crawl and he can't walk.
It's a fucking dart. Yes, darts can be sharp. It ain't penetrating and hitting the spine, especially if a doll is throwing it.
Yeah, so the dude falls, and then he does his final kill with the yo-yo string.
Although I do like this, he is strangling, and it's classic Chucky. He just has that maniacal look. So again, imagine a young child watching this.
I did want to... Oh, the other thing is... I think I've asked this before, is how he has like the body of he has the soul of a serial killer inside of him. How is he so fucking strong? Because the dude that they put in here as a CEO, he was a tall
Bigger dude.
It's a strong dude, yeah, and here's this doll just taking over.
Well,
But
that's what never
That's-
makes sense about this franchise is how can a doll overpower any
human.
human, any child, anything.
And then Chucky goes on to use the computer to find where Andy is. And I told Richard, I was like, if this is 8 years later, where the hell did he learn how to use a computer?
Well, computers are relatively new, and Charles Lee Ray, I can almost tell you with certainty, does not know what a computer is.
Yeah.
He was far from that.
But he knew how to search.
He lived in if you remember in the first one, he lived in a abandoned like apartment complex. Charles Lee Ray did. Remember, he was hiding out with a fire in the middle of the living room. So
But now
he did not have a now he knows a computer. He's operating really quickly, especially in 1991.
And then he knows how to break into passwords and all that
Get
shit.
the fuck out of here.
And he's able to find Andy, and he's like, "Oh my God, Kent Military School."
I think.
Why would the CEO? Okay, at this point,
Why would that info be in there?
Yeah, he's 16. He's still a minor. He's under the state's custody, not like for private corporation information, whatever.
Remanded to Kent.
Yeah, because he hasn't worked out in his foster homes.
So my thing is, and maybe I'm trying not to criticize too hard. I know it's a 90s B film, but like, dude, these are just points of why this movie failed. Even at the time, it was just kind of nonsense, rushed bullshit.
Okay. Yeah. So in the meantime, we see Andy arrives at the school. He just got there. The colonel is talking to him. And he's like, yeah, you had issues with your foster parents. He's like, you're a troublemaker. You better not fuck around here, boy. We'll get you. And they take him. This is where we meet the Botnick.
Yeah, Botnick, Sergeant Botnick,
And
the barber.
He's like super excited about cutting his hair.
Yeah, it's weird.
And it pans to a wall, and it has like pictures of all these kids that are at the school, and like
I'm surprised they didn't show a full-on rager in his pants, like, because that's like the vibe he was giving
and
off
the
whole
look
time.
of hair for all of them. I was like, that's weird.
That's when I noticed the lock of hair. I'm like, oh shit, why are these on the wall? They did it on purpose. I highly doubt that's any barber you've ever been. If you've seen hair on the wall like that next to a picture, a mugshot pretty much of a child or an adult, either way, would you still get your hair cut there?
No, I'd be like, excuse me, is this your
Yeah.
nephew, or is this a
I'm not going to be on the wall. I'm not going to be on the wall. Even if it's your nephew, why do you have the hair you cut on there? It's fucking weird.
It's a cultural thing, maybe. I don't know.
No, it's not. That's weird.
We're going to save a chunk of hair from Chanto's first haircut.
No, we're not. That's fucking weird.
And his belly button.
And we might as well
just
save his foreskin while we're at it too.
You just put it in a box.
Oh my god. We'll put in a little
a time keep memoir thing. We'll hang it on the wall.
no, like what are those books? Like
like
a photo album?
yeah.
Here's your hair.
And here's your belly button, and here's your foreskin. Happy birthday.
But not your stem cells.
Those are stored
Those are for me.
in a lab, and you gotta take over the bill.
Oh, you're stupid.
But so then Andy gets assigned to a room. He goes and meets his roommate, and then we start getting the idea
Whitehurst.
that some of the kids
So
are bullies.
yeah, we get that because he starts hearing a thump in the door, and it's supposed to be suspenseful. Like Chucky's behind the door. He opens it, and it's Whitehurst tied up with a gag in his mouth.
Yup, and he's like, dude, these kids are assholes. And I don't know why De Silva got so much. Her character got so much attention. She didn't do a whole lot other than
No,
flirt
she's
with
trying to
Andy
get
a little
kicked
bit.
out. Trying to get kicked out. Basically, she's a no fucks given. I'm going to talk shit no matter what.
Yeah, but I don't
So
feel
that was
like-
kind of the thing she was sticking up for him.
But her character didn't have much of a purpose here.
None of the characters do. They were just all half
I
baked.
thought she was going to fight or do something, and she was just collateral damage at times. And even then, it was still kind of like,
You know, I would argue this movie is better than It Follows.
Here we go, guys.
Nope, I'm not going to get into it. I'm
If
just leaving it at
someone's
that.
keeping track of the times It Follows has been mentioned outside of It Follows. Yeah, but the kid, I don't know, what was his name?
Whitehurst?
Yeah, no, the one that's in charge of the kids.
Oh, Shelton?
Yeah, they're doing some drill or something, lining up, and De Silva, she, like you said, she's the asshole and starts talking back, and she gets punished.
Well,
And
because
she does it with the smile to show off.
Shelton has already given the new guy shit, Andy, and then he gives Whitehurst some more shit, and then De Silva's like, you know what, fuck this guy. She's like, you're a real asshole. And then he's like, hey, drop it and give me 20 or 25. And then when she gets to 20, he's like, no, we're going to treat you not like a woman, but like a man. One arm push up. And she has to do one arm for 5 more.
And she doesn't. She gets up with a smile like, see, easy, whatever, just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then we see young Tyler. His dad, I'm assuming he's from a one-parent household because he's here alone and his dad's on duty, right?
Yeah.
And
she gets special treatment throughout this whole thing.
He does. He kind of gets to do whatever he wants. Sometimes he has to participate, but for the most part, we just see him running around the academy.
Yeah.
And then they ask him, he's around where they get mail. And they're like, oh, you want to do... He's asking to see if he got letters from his dad. And they told him no. And they're like, but you want to do a special task and take this huge oversized box to Andy? And he's like, sure. But being a kid, he gets nosy. And before he delivers it, he opens it to see what's inside the box. Which, if you've been at this military school, for I don't care how old you are, you would know manners and know better than to open someone else's mail.
So he doesn't full out open it. He drops it down the stairs on accident. He gets ran into. It opens it up a bit. He knows good guy doll because he got excited.
From the TV commercial.
The commercial's in the hair cutting spot when Andy was getting his hair cut and he was getting his hair cut. He's seen the TV show. He was stoked. And then he's seen the package open a little bit. Of course, he's in a military school. He doesn't have toys. So he's seen this toy and he's like, oh my God, I got to have it. I think any normal kid would do that.
I wouldn't though.
You wouldn't have? I would have. I'm like, I'm hiding this shit.
I would have been more scared to get in trouble than to open it.
Oh.
Because technically you would have if you're not following the rules.
But it's Tyler. He gets away with everything he wants.
But yeah, so he opens it, and then it's funny because he unwraps like the packaging, and Chucky jumps out of the box, and he's like, ah!
It's like you know what's funny? We never hear about the CEO ever again in this, even though he got murdered.
Oh, yeah.
We never hear shit. Nothing ever comes of it.
Yeah, so Tyler's confused, and he's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I thought you can only say 3 sentences.
Oh, he comes out. He's like, ah! He's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And then he's like, what? I thought you can only say 3 sentences.
He's so naive.
Yeah, he's just a young kid, and he's lonely, you can tell. And
he's like,
friends.
He's like, can't you fucking read the label? I was supposed to be delivered to Andy.
He's like, oh, Andy's your best friend? He's like, yeah.
And then he's like, wait a minute. He's like, it doesn't have to be Andy. And this is where we see it's like his light bulb goes off, and he's like, maybe
it's like
Tyler.
the light bulb goes off, but it's also the light bulb goes off for the writer, like Mancini. Like, oh, it doesn't have to be Andy in this. You know what I mean? Like you can clearly tell they pivoted too in the script writing, and they just kind of crowbarred this in.
Yeah, and then we see later on, so Chucky, you can tell Tyler's very lonely in this place, maybe because he listens too much to what Chucky's saying.
Yeah.
And at one point,
he really wants a friend.
Yeah, so Chucky sets this whole thing up. He's gonna possess him.
Hide the soul.
Yeah, and he has him laying down, about to start doing his little chant, and then people come into the room where they're playing, and they find him, and it's the carnal guy, and he's like,
it's the classic case of the last 2 movies. Chucky gets close to getting like Andy in this situation, Tyler. This is the first time the clouds are rolling in. It's about to happen, and then someone interrupts.
Yeah, and he's like, what are you doing? You were supposed to take the doll to Andy. So they take it from Tyler.
No, they didn't know. They're like, what are you doing? He's like, you're not supposed to play with the doll. And he takes it. Not that they said it was for Andy, but they're just...
They do. Well, after this, they do. Someone does keep saying,
but not the Colonel.
Oh, not him. Someone else.
Yeah.
Someone else does take it over.
Nobody takes it over. The Colonel takes it to the trash. takes Chucky to the trash and dumps him in there. Remember the dumpster? And then Chucky finds
thought
his
that
way
was
into the
later.
room. Chucky finds his way into the...
Okay. And then?
So no, yeah, he takes the Colonel takes it to the dumpster, and then he throws it in the trash can as the guy, the dumpster garbage man, is there. And then it goes in, and then all of a sudden you hear screaming. He's like, "What the fuck? No!" And I love the image. It shows Chucky just slowly going into the trash, like falling, like, ah. And then the dumpster guy, this is, again, nonsense. I hate this, is he's like, "Oh my God, I hear someone." Instead of turning the machine off, the car off, and take the keys with him, he leaves it in and running and goes into the back of the garbage
thing, yeah,
the garbage truck, and then so it's on. Why would you do that? That's stupid.
He didn't read his safety manual.
Yeah, I just, instinct would be, oh, I'm getting out of the car, I'm taking my car keys. I don't care if someone's back there or not. It's not going to do us any good if it's running.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that was just kind of took me out of it. It made me kind of slog through. But nevertheless, Chucky gets out. He gets in the car because it's running, and then somehow knows how to operate the garbage truck and can quickly, this guy has no time to get out and avoid being compacted in the garbage truck, which inside looked pretty
empty.
Inaccurate. Like there's this big spinning sharp thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's happening in there. I think it just is like a compactor. It just compacts it.
Pushing it down.
So anyways, it's very slow. It's kind of like Austin Powers where the cart is like going at him or the steamroller's coming at him and the guy's screaming the whole time for like 5 minutes. And he puts his arm up and it just shows it like crack and then blood spews out of the garbage truck.
That was a pretty bloody.
And the cadets find him.
And they're like, oh my God.
Again, nobody speaks of it after that.
There's been a killing and it's very traumatic. Let's move on with our lives.
Exactly. And they don't talk about it after that.
But yes, after this, Chucky makes it to Andy's room. And I keep forgetting his name, the asshole kid, the bully one.
Shelton.
Yeah, he finds him and they think he's just losing his mind talking to a doll because they don't know.
No, so he's Whitehurst is polishing the shoes, right? And again, we're getting a painted picture of Whitehurst as being bullied, and he doesn't really want to be there. And Andy's like, yeah, that sucks. I'm here, blah, blah, blah. Not giving a whole lot. But then we see Chucky peeping through the box. And then when Whitehurst leaves to brush his teeth, Andy's going to put his clothes away and in that same box. But then he opens it. Chucky's not there. But Chucky grabs the knife, pocket knife that Andy just set down. And then he tries to attack Andy. And this is the struggle. We see him just pounding the doll on the ground. And Shelton's like, what the fuck? What kind of sick fuck are you? And then he's like, oh, my sister's going to love this doll. And takes it.
Takes it.
Yep.
And then after this,
Andy really wants the doll back. So later we see him go in there into Shelton's room.
Yeah, but instead they have another fight in his room, right? And then...
Well, no. So then in the room, he's looking for Chucky. He's trying to be quiet. And then he looks on the wall, and it looks like one of Shelton's hunting knives are gone off the wall. So he's still looking around, and all of a sudden Chucky scares Andy. And then Andy jumps on the bed, and Shelton's like, what the fuck? And pushes him into a corner. Andy has his pocket knife in his hand, and he's like, I want the doll. Just give me the doll. And the guy's like, you took my doll? And look, he's like, where's it at? And they start arguing and everybody comes in. By this point, after this, he's like, you know what? I got to prove a point. And he makes them all go outside in the pouring rain and run circles. Right?
I think so.
You think so?
It's
That's what happened. I know so.
Okay. That seems a blur to me. But after this, Chucky's like, screw this. He goes to look for Tyler.
He's trying to. He's like, man, Chucky's on the loose and he wants Tyler. Because Chucky said that. He's like, I don't need you anymore, Andy. I got another body.
He's like, why are you so obsessed with me?
And this is where that didn't hold up. He's like, and this is one of the missteps with this franchise that has like a lot of questionable things. But this one I didn't really agree with. It didn't hold up. But this is where he's like, yeah, I found someone else, that Tyler kid. And he's like, yep, Chucky's going to be a bro. And then he gives the like Black Panther like solidarity fist. I'm like, wow, this is a misstep, man. Even for 1991, I thought that was pretty bad.
Yeah. So, and at this point, Tyler's kind of playing into the, with Chucky. So he knew he was going to come look for him. And he makes his bed to seem like he's sleeping there, but he left a note behind saying to go and find him. So he goes and, on this fucking quest to find Tyler around the building, around the school. And he finally does. And I just I don't know. I just got the sense that Tyler was not taking Chucky serious at all, because Chucky's like, Mom, we gotta do this. And he's like, man, I don't want to play your games anymore.
Yeah, it's lame.
He's like, it's not very fun, and it's just not entertaining. And Chucky's starting to get frustrated with him.
But he goes in the closet, and they hide real quick, because then De Silva and a friend of hers sneak into the same colonel's office that Tyler's in, and they're looking for the file on Andy, because she has a crush on Andy, and she wants to know all the deepest, darkest secrets that he's hiding, because he's an awkward guy. But she thinks hot.
Instead, they find Chucky and Tyler in the closet, and they're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, and they fuck with them.
And they're like, oh, you guys are playing hide and seek. It's so cute.
She puts
and they take
lipstick
Chucky
on
from
Chucky.
Tyler and put lipstick on him.
So this is the cheesy part too. So the colonel comes in, right? And they leave Chucky on the desk. They run away. But
Chucky
as
gets
he's coming
up
out,
all mad.
yeah, he gets up all mad, and this is cheesy, but he's like, this means war.
Wiping
Because he
off
has
the
lipstick on
off
his
his face.
It's like, I don't know. That was kind of a miss for me. But the colonel comes in. He's like, what the hell? Picks it up, throws him in the trash, head down in the trash can, walks away, and then he hears a thump, and the trash can's knocked over. Chucky's not in it. So he gets a little freaked out, and then he sees Chucky with a knife, and all of a sudden he has a heart attack.
Yes.
And Chucky's like, you gotta be fucking kidding
They didn't
me.
do any damage.
This is the first kind of one of those jokes, because after that, I believe every movie after this has something like that.
Yeah, just a fucking ridiculous.
He doesn't kill him, he gives him a heart attack.
And then
how about this heart attack scene? Was this believable? Like, he had full on sweat, and he was holding his heart hard, and then fell into the glass.
I felt it. My chest felt tight.
I know. I was like, ay.
And then next we see another scene with the fucking barber. And the kids, they're all in the cafeteria, and he's waiting to know if they got a haircut. He's like obsessed. He's just going around grabbing and pulling their hair, and he's like, 1 week,
in this
2
lunch,
days.
So in this lunch, they're like, hey, let's have a moment of silence. Their colonel died, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this barber's just fucking tweaking hard and perving out. Like, have a little bit of respect. It was the tonal difference. Like, it's just moving along. The colonel's dead. He just served as a vehicle for Chucky to kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just another victim. And yeah, they went fully on that. This guy's a fucking pervert.
Just grabbing and pulling on everybody's hair. And then he finds Chucky, and he's like, you need a fucking haircut.
Well, no, he's like, Whitehurst, you're going in this. I need to see you this morning after mess hall or whatever. He's like, okay, yes, sir. So he goes in there. Everybody's going outside. He goes in to get his haircut. He ends up doing it. It's a horrible haircut. And then as
he does a pretty shitty job too. Now that I remember, he just
they're all terrible.
Lips with the scissors. No method.
Botnick though goes to clean up, and he goes in the cupboard, and then all of a sudden Chucky falls out, and then he looks at Chucky. He's like, he's like, that's a terrible haircut, soldier. And you can tell his perviness. He's like, I'm gonna do this to this doll, and he sits the doll sits Chucky in the chair.
Yeah, he sets him in the chair, and he's going to make a haircut. And Chucky, by this time, he has one of the blades.
I thought it would have been cool if
And
Chucky got a military cut.
That would have been fucking funny. And because how would he regrow that? And as the dude, he gets close, he just slices his throat.
Yeah, and he's like, presto. Just like he told Whitehurst. He's like, presto, you have a haircut. Or buzz. And then Chucky's like, presto, your throat's been slit.
Yeah.
And Whitehurst comes back because he forgot something, and he sees Botnick's throat slit, and he's sitting in the chair, and he sees Chucky holding the knife. He runs away, goes back into the goes back to the formation where everybody's lined up because they're explaining the war games
Oh, yeah.
that are gonna continue, and Colonel
He doesn't say anything. He just keeps that to himself.
yeah, and he's clearly distraught, and then everybody's asking, they're like, what's wrong? He's like, nothing. I didn't see anything.
Just fucking say that you saw a doll holding a knife and there's another dead person.
Well, when Andy's asking about it already, like, why didn't you just say something?
Or say you found someone dead instead of just pretending like nothing happened.
Yeah, and we never see anything come of Botnick's demise. They don't say anything about it.
Yeah.
If someone died with his throat slit like that, they would end the war games. But they would have ended the war games. Like, every kid needs to come back. We need to make sure everybody's accounted for and ensure everybody is good to go.
A shelter in place of some sort.
Yeah.
Because weird shit's happening.
And that's not
People
happening.
are dying every day with
We've had
all
three
over
we've had 3 deaths since the movie started in the military base.
Yeah.
3, and there's no concern whatsoever.
Mm-mm. It's just another day.
In fact, we don't hear about Botnick ever.
Yeah.
Plot hole, anybody?
No. So the team is being split into 2. There's going to be a red team and a blue team, and they're playing essentially with paint guns.
Yeah. And this is a classic scene. I remember this even as a kid.
And
Chucky swaps out the red team's gun ammunition paint with real bullets. I don't know where he got the real bullets, but somehow he got them and they weren't locked up securely.
Yeah. And so the kids go out to their war thing out in the middle of the forest, and half of them have have real bullets. While they're out there playing, there's a whole bunch of fucking drama happening with the kids. And then Chucky and all of this is trying to find Tyler to keep playing his game and take over his soul. And again, Tyler here, he's like, dude, I don't want to. And there's a confrontation, and it's really funny because Tyler grabs his little knife that he has and tries stabbing Chucky with it to get away from him when Chucky starts getting violent.
It was the knife that Andy gave him to protect himself. Because Tyler didn't want to believe it. At the mess hall, by the way, he had a video game. No one else got to have video games, but he's just playing while he eats.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Andy, you're just jealous. He's my best friend now. And Andy's like, you know what? You're not listening to me. Take this knife. You're going to need it. Protect yourself. Yeah. And he uses it. He stabs Chucky in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And runs away.
Yeah, and he runs back and he's like, all right, you were right. Chucky's bad. And in the meantime,
while Andy's searching for Tyler, he steals the map from Shelton, runs and finds the red base, and he goes in and he asks where Tyler's at. And he's like, oh, he went with his friend Charles.
Yeah.
And so now Tyler's AWOL, Andy's AWOL, and Shelton catches on, and he's like, oh, we got to find this traitor. So he tries to find him. They start marching. De Silva she gets split up with the rest of them. And another guy, they get separated where they got to go do something and patrol or some shit. Mm-hmm. And then Chucky, after getting stabbed by Tyler, runs into De Silva and has a radio. And Andy gets caught by Shelton.
He does. Oh.
And that's when Tyler runs up. And Tyler's like, Andy, you're right, Andy, Charles. And Shelton's like, who the fuck's Charles? And then all of a sudden on the radio, you hear Chucky. He'll be like, Andy. Hey, Andy. And he's like, hey, man, give the fucking mic. Shelton's like, who is this? He's like, hey, jarhead, give the mic to Andy. Or give the comm to Andy.
Yeah. And so he tells him that he has De Silva and he will trade her for Tyler. So that's their trade-off. So Andy agrees to go meet up with him. He takes walkie-talkies. And at the same time, the other kids over here, because they also show up.
Well, Chucky on the mic, he then channels the red team. He's like, hey, there's an ambush happening here. The blue team's going to be here. Get them. So they have a plan that's separate from the blue teams. So then the blue team gets there first, and Shelton's like, okay, we're going to break up. We're going to hide, but you two are going to go up and do the trade-off or whatever. And they're like, no, I don't want to. And they're like, dude, relax. It's only paint. So setting it up that it's going to be deadly. They walk up there and they do the switch. De Silva for Tyler.
Yeah.
And by this time, the blue team and Shelton surround them, and they have him surrounded. And then he sees Chucky talking, and he smiles. He's like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is
It's
this?"
real.
Yeah, and then so he's entertained but not scared. And then all of a sudden they fire at it. Tyler runs away, gets away, but then and Chucky's laughing because he throws a grenade. Right?
Mm-hmm.
By this time, though, but before the grenade's thrown, the red team shows up, and then Shelton gets shot right through the heart.
Yeah, and some of the other kids get shot too, but of course they're bleeding.
Oh, they show it?
No, but you just hear, that's what's happening is the red team is shooting some of the other kids.
Oh, yeah. They just show Shelton,
You
though.
just see them falling or hear them falling, the screaming, and like, what's happening, right? Because
Right.
I think someone's trying to say they're real bullets, but because there's so much yelling and commotion, nobody's really paying attention to stop shooting.
They don't hear ceasefire. And then, but they do, and then everybody's like fucking panicked. They don't know what's going on. But Shelton's dead.
Yeah, and so they throw, like you said, Chucky throws a grenade, and then the other kid, he sees it, the one that saw him with the barber.
Yeah.
And although he was scared to say anything initially, he gets like the nerve to be and play
the grenade.
hero. Yeah, and he throws himself on top of the grenade.
Total Full Metal Jacket or Apocalypse Now. They're trying to make this super compelling and heroic, but I did not get any of this from this. I'm like, why is he even doing this? This is dumb.
Just a hater.
It was dumb. It was just, and where did Chucky get the grenade? You're at a kid's like military. It's an ROTC. It's not actual army. Get the fuck out of here.
I know.
Like the actual bullets wouldn't be there. They wouldn't have made it that easy for Chucky to get all that. You know what I mean?
It's 91, man.
I don't care.
I don't care.
It's hard. I know we're talking about a killer doll, but it's just some of the stuff is just nonsense.
Yeah,
It's
so
cartoonish.
from this point, Tyler keeps trying to escape. Down from where they are, there's a carnival going on at the same time. So the kids eventually make it down there. Tyler gets there first. He's escaping from Chucky.
And he's looking for help, and he finds a security guard.
Mm-hmm. And he's like telling the security guy he had a friend named Charles, but now he's like, he's hiding from him or some shit. And the guy's like, oh, okay. He's like, you don't want to find your friend. We're going to get you help in the meantime. You can play with this. I just found it, and it's fucking Chucky.
And he's got a smile on his face. He's like, huh?
Yeah.
Like excited. And Tyler's like, no.
Not this.
And it shows a gun in a drawer, and then it's gone. Chucky has the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes Tyler to a haunted house. At this time, Andy and Da Silva are on the prowl, and they're at the carnival looking for Tyler, and they see him going to the haunted house.
Yeah, so there's all these kids going into the haunted house. There's the whole hiding and
for how short
chasing around each other.
This movie, the pacing's going fairly fast. It's a short movie, but man, how the hell did they make it feel so sluggish?
I don't know.
Would you agree though? It's only an hour and like 20.
Yeah, I don't know.
How the hell is it so sluggish? I don't get it.
I don't know either. But yeah, no, Da Silva and Andy are trying to help, but Chucky and Tyler, they get to the top of this ride as like a haunted volcano kind of deal.
Yeah.
And they get on top, and it's funny because Tyler has been fighting so much all this time, and then he gets like smacked with one of the rides or something, and he faints.
Who does?
Tyler.
Oh yeah, he
out.
rides the dragon thing all the way up to the top, and then he's like, Andy, I'm right here, and then he gets hit over the head because the thing starts to move downwards, but it's like styrofoam.
Yeah, you can tell it's super soft, and it happened very slowly too.
And then he's like, you got to give the kid like credit, but he's just like cheesy acting, like,
yeah, just and I'm done. And Chuck is like, perfect, now he can move. And he starts, he's Dumbala.
Amandurendala. Give me the power, I beg of you.
And switch. Oh, no, that's the next movie. The switching.
Oh, and then, so now Andy's like, oh shit, I got to go up there. But before that, we see a shootout between Da Silva and Chucky shoots her in the kneecap. So she's immobilized and she's done for the movie. And now Andy's like, I gotta save Tyler, and tries to climb up there. He starts doing parkour stuff all the way up, almost gets hit dramatically by the machine. Another cool part too that before this happens, I think, before Tyler gets knocked out, is they're on the tracks, the roller coaster tracks, and there's this Grim Reaper. He's swinging his weapon, and that's how cheesy this is. There's no way this would have took half of Chucky's face off, but they're acting like it's so sharp and intense. This blade is going in front of people on the roller coaster. They're not going to make it that durable and fucking intense.
Sharp. Yeah,
like it's going to take someone's head off.
That's a liability waiting to happen if a normal rider walks too close to it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but they do it to Chucky and half his face gets sliced off. So it makes him look even more menacing. I get why they did it, but it's just little things like that as a movie, like watching a movie, it's like, oh, okay. I'm suspending belief. I know I'm watching a killer doll.
And then from here...
They get to it. Andy gets to him. They're on top. They're battling it out. And he's not quite up there, but Tyler comes too. And is he choking? Is he choking Andy or is he choking Tyler?
He's choking both. Let's go with that.
Well, no, because Tyler gives him the pocket knife. And then Andy takes it and stabs again, I think.
Stabs Chucky?
Yeah, Chucky. And then Chucky, basically to sum it up, Chucky then has a dramatic ending. He ends up falling into that fan that's blowing.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought this was awesome falling. He's falling. He's kicking his feet and falling. He's like, ah.
His little legs.
This is one of my favorite scenes in the franchise as well. Because it's dramatic, and then he just explodes. Blood's everywhere out of this little doll that gets fucking in the fan. I thought that was pretty good.
And then ba-boom.
Boom. And that's the end of it. And then we see everybody's packing up. Cars are rolling away. Andy has his moment with his girl. She's like, Andy, what about you? He's like, it's fine. I've been here before. And is he being arrested or is he just being sent away? Because he's not cuffed, but they're forcing him into the back of the cop car.
I don't know. Maybe they're moving him somewhere else.
I don't know. It's confusing.
Again, there was trouble here.
But it was confusing. But now you've got even more people attesting that there was a killer doll.
Maybe there's answers in like some of the later movies where Andy comes back.
I will have to watch it.
To fill in the gap.
How come you didn't do your homework on this?
What do you mean my homework?
You should have did homework on this. Like
on the other movies?
Yeah.
I'm sorry they didn't have enough time to watch the entire
franchise to get all the Child's Play 3
to fill
cannon
you in
fodder.
On all I did see during our commercial that Bride of Chucky picks up. So the whole month thing, she buys Chucky from a cop. His little body is recovered and then it's sold to Tiffany after this movie. And that's where she brings him back to life.
But he exploded in this movie.
And this one, they brought her the chopped up, decayed little body.
Like
pieces.
There was nothing left of him.
Oh, I don't know. They give her a bag.
Interesting. Wow.
Wow, losers.
Wow.
And they used to date back in the day, so they had history before all of this.
Brad Dourif and
Tiffany.
Like the real actress?
No, Charles Lee Ray. And her used to date before he went
and
on
he didn't
his
kill her?
Trying to possess. They both were doing fucked up shit before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she knows how much of a bad boy he is.
So that's the end of the movie. After talking at length about this movie, has your opinion of this movie changed?
Yes.
It has. Okay, for the better?
For the worst.
Damn. Okay, so you hate this movie.
I don't hate it, but you're just like, you do a very good job of pointing out like all the
even
holes.
Good movies though. I mean, it's hard to make a perfect movie.
I know,
like that.
but you're like, and then this was bad, and then this, and then this.
Point out stuff you didn't even realize.
It was good. I appreciate.
Whoa! Don't sugarcoat this because you don't want to be the bad guy. Say
not.
how you really feel about it.
It's not my favorite. I liked some of the humor.
Okay.
And being Chucky just being a little asshole because we can start seeing some of his, dark comedy humor self come out. But that's about it. Other than that, it felt kind of pretty slow. And it felt like a repetitive story.
Mm-hmm.
Just in a different setting.
Okay. Well, what would you rate it then?
Well, I would rate it. I don't... 1.5.
Oh, wow. 1.5. You wouldn't give it a 1?
No.
Why?
Why? I like the Chucky, man. It says nostalgia.
So for nostalgia, I'm still being fair about this. I'm giving it a 1.
Ricardo
I'm giving it a 1.
Anthony.
Nostalgia purposes, and yes, it has a great intro, and yes, it has a great death scene for Chucky. It's very satisfying. But the rest of the movie, oh my God. As an adult with fresh eyes on this thing, and having watched, we've done 57 other episodes. This would be taking the cake. This is a stretch. We've seen some pretty bad ones, but this is right up there with it.
So all those times you were like pouting about Child's Play 3 was because you hadn't seen it in 30 years?
Yeah, pretty much. But still, would you recommend this movie?
If you're a fan, sure, watch it.
Would you recommend them to buy this movie?
Don't buy it.
Oh, shit.
If you buy it in a pack.
Okay. My thing is, okay, it's Chucky, yes. But honestly, you can avoid watching this one.
Oh, yeah, you won't miss anything.
Yeah, if you stumble upon it, fine. Definitely don't pay for it. Yeah, and if you like Chucky, then sure, watch it. But for me, it's strictly nostalgia is the only reason I revisited it, and I'm probably going to give it another 30 before I watch it again.
You can probably find the intro on YouTube, and then that's like the satisfying scene.
So you give it a 1.5, I give it a 1.
We'll see what Vienna has to say.
What was your favorite kill?
Ooh, shoozy. Probably. Okay, we saw Botnick, we saw Shelton, we saw Wit something, Chucky die, and then
mine's probably Chucky, but second would be Shelton getting shot.
Either I don't know. A favorite.
They're all kind of anticlimactic.
They are kind
besides
of.
Chucky's.
I mean, Botnick, because he was just somebody needed to stop him from hanging any more pictures on the wall.
Touching kids, yes.
And pulling on their hair. Yeah, he fucking deserved it more than anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Botnick, huh?
Yeah, a hair grabber.
So what was the critical reception on the critics and audience?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked.
Are you? Because you're being kind of sarcastic.
Yeah. You usually forget. IMDb gives it 5.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 19%. And this week, there was a lot of ratings that I found. So Shudder, 4.5 out of 5, which I think it's a high rating. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Metacritic, 27 out of 100. Letterboxd, 2.6 out of 5, and Google users, 79%.
That's pretty low for a Google users.
No, there was another one we saw that we liked, and it was a 79 as well. So it's a little high. It's mostly average, middle of the road, except for Rotten Tomatoes with a 19. Yes, Thor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sums that up. Do we want to take a quick break and then go into everybody's favorite segment, Vienna's Review Corner?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll be right back.
Vienna's Review Corner. Sometimes she watches, sometimes she won't. Sometimes she's hyped, but most times she's mad. Take it away, Vienna.
All right, welcome back. Another exciting rendition of Vienna's Review Corner. Vienna, how the hell are you?
Good. How about you?
Oh, man, we're doing good. We're rolling. We're just really covering this masterpiece of cinematography. How did you feel about the movie?
It was okay.
It was okay? What would you rate it?
A 3.
You gave it a 3? Fucking A.
What?
What'd you like about it?
Wait.
No, don't go off our reaction.
You're like, what movie did we
No,
watch?
I'm not. I'm like thinking about it more now. Like 2.5.
Okay.
2.5?
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you like about it?
I don't know. It was another Chucky movie. I don't know.
Okay, but do you like Chucky? Is that like one of your favorite franchises?
It's a good franchise. I don't know about favorite, but it's
Okay.
pretty good.
Your mom
Do you have a
holds it
favorite
high regards.
franchise?
Yeah.
No.
Do you have a franchise that you hold higher than Chucky?
I don't know.
Okay. What was your favorite kill?
Oh, probably, I forgot, his roommate with the grenade.
Whitehurst?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Because it was heroic.
So you
or
give
what?
it a
I
2.5.
don't know.
This is the first time this has ever happened. Vienna has ranked it higher than we have. I gave it a 1. Angels gave it a 1.5. Vienna is the first time
Really?
hearing this, and she's got a 2.5.
Well, maybe it was just because it was my first time. I don't know.
Okay. Feels like the first time. No. Very first time. No. Oh, a little bit foreigner there. Anyways, okay. So, what'd you find as far as we've kind of covered the critics on the audience from our perspective and the research your mom did, but what about you? What'd you find people said about it?
Some people said it was like kind of lazy. I think just because it was like so close to when the other movies were made or whatever.
Yeah, it was just a money grab.
Yeah, and then some people said it was like out of character, I guess, like the movie setting. So
It was drastically different for the sake of just being different.
yeah.
Interesting. So, what are some of the comments you got or reviews?
Someone gave it 3.5 and said, Tyler would be the worst fucking mailman ever. Someone gave it 2 stars and said, this is the weakest film in the franchise. The death scenes are fun, but the story lacked any substance.
Yeah.
Someone else gave it a 3 and said, my least favorite Child's Play film, and it's still pretty okay. I think the main takeaway here is that we need to see more people blow up in movies.
the fuck?
Hell yeah.
And then someone gave it 2.5 and said, this one's a huge step down from the first 2, but honestly, I still kind of enjoyed it. It's not hard to be entertained by Brad Dourif as Chucky, even when the script gives him nothing than one-liners.
That is actually pretty true. That's the saving silver lining of this movie.
Yeah. They then said, it's the least creative Child's Play movie. The kills are boring, and the setting just doesn't fit the franchise. However, the climax is pretty fun, and as I said before, Brad Dourif is always a joy as Chucky.
Goat, baby.
And they said the opening credits are amazing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Best in franchise.
Mm-hmm. Someone gave it 4 stars and said, the military setting was a nice change for the franchise, and Chucky is as comical as ever. Some awesome kills as well.
Okay.
And then someone gave it 4 stars and said, sure, Chucky is a bitch, but can we all please talk about the weirdo obsessed with cutting children's hair? Or was I the
Yes.
only one uncomfortable about it?
No, we said that.
Mm-hmm. Someone gave it 1 star and said, can't get over how funny Chucky's legs are.
Dude, they're hilarious when he's going up to the top of that thing to get to Tyler. He's kicking his feet.
Mm-hmm. Someone gave it 5 stars and said, a very fitting and fun conclusion to the original trilogy. I truly love how creative Chucky got with the kills in this film. Changing the paintballs to actual bullets, the darts, the grenade. Thank you, Don, for this brilliant franchise and my personal favorite slasher icon.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think the kills are that great in this, to be honest.
And then
How do you guys feel about them? They weren't that
I
great.
thought they were pretty neutral.
Yeah, they're pretty
standard.
standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, even for 1991, I thought it was a little eh.
Yeah. And then the last one, someone gave it a 3 and said, I don't think any of the sequels reach the heights of the first film, but this is by far the most underrated in the series.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm glad there's people that are out there that like this movie, but honestly, what would be the best one in this franchise, would you say, Vienna?
Probably the first one is like kind of a
Even
classic,
above
you know?
like Bride of Chucky or Seed of Chucky?
Oh, all of them? I thought you meant the
Yeah,
trilogy.
just in general.
I don't know.
Bride of
the
Chucky,
original-
I haven't seen that in a while, but Bride of Chucky was pretty entertaining.
My favorites are like the Bride of Chucky and like Seed of Chucky, but
Yeah,
that's
mine-
just me personally.
So how I would go, obviously, Child's Play 2, and then Bride of Chucky. But I haven't seen Bride of Chucky in forever. It might be another Child's Play 3 for me. I don't know.
No, it's better than Child's Play 3.
Yeah. Well, what I remember being pretty young watching. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's more entertaining.
Yeah.
It's more of an adult
Parody, it's humor.
parody, yeah, of Tilly
Satire.
trying to get him to marry her.
Well, cool. Anything else, Vienna?
What movie are we watching next week?
Are you ready for this?
Nah.
Whatever we want.
It's a vacation, baby. We're going to take a
Oh my
break.
God.
We haven't chose our movies yet, but we will. So that'll be exciting. Do you have anything else? Anything else you want to plug, Vienna?
How'd you feel about 28 years later?
Man, that zombie dong, baby.
God.
And that pregnancy, that birth, that zombie birth. I don't know, made me feel things.
It made you
Oh. Well,
Good, happy
good,
things?
I was going to say good.
Life. It was okay.
Oh my gosh.
It was an array of emotions. I don't
It
know.
was.
Yeah.
It was. We seen it Friday, guys. Or Saturday. It was fun. Well, okay. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Thank you, Vienna. Appreciate all that you do on the podcast. You were a bright spot of the episodes.
Ow.
Just ow, that's all you
Yeah.
get back.
And then, so Angelus, for our break, we're going to technically, it'll be a couple weeks, a 2-week vacation break for us, but it'll be 3 before an actual episode. We're going to have a mini episode where we're going to break down what we're going to cover. So it'll be 3 weeks, but we'll have 2 weeks with no episode. And then the 3rd week, we'll have that mini episode giving out the layout of the next season. Does that sound good?
Sounds dandy.
All right. And then where can they cover us or follow us?
Instagram, TikTok,
YouTube.
Facebook, YouTube.
At Horror Cinema
OnlyFans.
Obsession.
No, I'm kidding.
We're gonna put Wellesley's paws on OnlyFans.
Ew.
I sell my
kidding.
socks.
Yeah.
Um,
Horror Cinema Obsession.
Yeah, at Horror Cinema Obsession. Email at horrorcinemaobsession24@gmail.com. All right. Well, with that, guys, let's give them a Horror Cinema Obsession goodbye. Hasta la gosi. CC. Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Horror Cinema Obsession. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And join us next time for another episode of Horror Cinema Obsession.